Well, I thought that why don't we just begin this week's episode with last week's groove. That's right, last week's episode we taught you how to make a nice simple groove for a deep house track. I hope you guys made some nice grooves of yours as well. After the groove is done and you're happy with it, it's sounding tight, it's sounding wide and it's sounding nice. The next element, according to me as a DJ and a producer, is the bass line. Well, because we play at clubs and we're at parties all the time with loud sounds and banging sound, I think the groove and the bass line actually give that punch to the crowd. So after the groove is made, the next element, the bass line. What we're going to do right now is listen to a sample of a bass line, add it to our track. So let's listen to the sample that I've selected already. I wanted to mention one more thing here that I had mentioned in the last episode as well. That is, always make sure that whenever you start a track, do your homework. Make sure that your files, your samples are all sorted. What we are using in these tutorials right now are just samples. I'm not doing any MIDI work. I've not done anything which is rocket science. It's just basically listening to a sound, liking the sound, dragging and dropping the sound in my arrangement window. And that's exactly what I've done. I've got a nice folder made with all my deep house sounds. So what I've just done is I've heard those sounds, I've selected a bass line, just drag and dropped it in the arrangement window. Now let's listen to this bass line with the groove that we made last week. So what I'm just going to do is activate the solo buttons on my groove tracks. Let's listen to the groove once again without the bass line. And now let's activate the solo button on the bass line to see how it sounds with the groove. One, two, three, bass. Did you actually notice that just one sample, single bass line could make such a difference to your track? That's why it's very, very important that when you select your sounds, when you select your samples and you're making your track, give enough time to choosing the right sounds. Because if you select a wrong sound, no matter how many sounds you put, if they're wrong, your track is not going to sound good. That's why, according to me again, when I'm working on a track, I always make sure that I give the maximum time on selecting my samples. Once they are done, the rest of it just flows. Once again, the bass line with the groove. Now in this track, what I wanted to do is create a breakdown. Well, when I was creating the breakdown and I was just thinking about it, I just thought that I don't want to continue the same bass line. I needed something different. So what I've done in this track is I've used two samples and two separate bass lines. So one bass line is the one which you just heard right now. And for the breakdown portion of the track, I've changed the bass line, which you can listen to right here. So what basically happens is that when the breakdown happens, you don't have actually, clean, crisp, whole notes playing. It's sort of a slide bass line. It gives you a feel of sort of a dark pad come the low frequencies. Let's listen to it one more time. And the first bass line that we had was this. Once we start composing the track and going ahead in the track and we actually get into making our breakdown, you will know how these bass lines will make a difference.